Okay, so I'm dealing with this client right now that's a super awesome guy. He does a lot of work for me, really nice guy, but unfortunately he didn't know a couple of things that got him to bounce out of one of the last transactions we were in. At the very end of the deal, he was working with my private lender, Derek, and then at the very end of the deal, he pulled out all of his money that got him approved for the deal, and he put it into his wife's account. And then because he did that, it didn't get approved for the loan. So I was like, and so here's the point of the story today. And what we're talking about in this video is why big banks suck and what you need to know to avoid everything that we're going through in this current transaction that we're in. If you don't mind, that we're outside here at Ascension in Dallas, and the winner of last time in our last video, we did a $5 giveaway for who guessed it was in the cup. And today we're at Ascension, so it's probably going to be coffee based, but what kind of coffee do I have in this cup? If you guys comment below on Instagram or on YouTube, whoever's the first one to figure out what's in this very potent cup of Joe, then you will also get $5 as well. Nikki Jones, congratulations on winning last time. So let's get into it. So he switched over from Derek, my preferred lender, which is a private lender. Now, what does a private lender mean, and what does a private lender do? Basically, they don't get paid unless they close the deal. And so they don't get paid the salary that comes from this big bank. They don't have a whole bunch of teams and working a whole bunch of loans that they don't care about. They actually are specifically talking to you. They'll call you every day or send you a text or email, depending on how good the client is or depending on how good the lender is. And they let you know every single step of the process. They'll go out of their way to make sure they close the deal for you before the closing date. And so on average, a good private lender can close the deal in like 15 to 20 days, really. But then I like to keep it safe and do like 20 days. But I always put like 30 days for my close dates just so we can have some buffer zone in case anything weird comes up. But whenever you take that and you compare it to a big bank, and so say for instance in this case, the new transaction we have is on a $350,000 house, and he went from Derek to Wells Fargo. And this Wells Fargo, oh man, like if you guys get a chance, stay away from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, any of those big banks like this, because they're going to make your life a living hell, like they made my life a living hell. Okay, so here's the story. We got this house. We put an offer in. We got the offer accepted. Now, there's a thing called dotloop. For you non-real estate agents, basically it's just a system that you get all the documentations, PDFs, and all the files, and you send out to all parties. You just click all parties, and then everyone signs, everyone sees, everyone signs, sends a PDF, executed is when all parties sign, and then from there on, everyone has access to the file. So I did that, and so we got the offer accepted. We changed some names. We did some things here and there. We did some amendments. And then we're good to go. And so we're now in option period. Option period is going smooth. I got him an extra like $1,500 because of air conditioning stuff, and so he was really happy that he's now having $1,500 credit towards whatever he wants to do in the house whenever it comes time to him to buy the house. All good. Option period over. A couple days after, order the survey. Okay, we're good. And then I talked to the title company, say, are we all good for closing? We're going to be closing on November 1st. Is there anything we need to know? And then she's like, well, we haven't really heard from the anybody over at the lending side, and do you mind reaching out to them? I'm like, dang it, this is every time I try to work with a bank, this is always happening. So I called the bank. I was like, hey, did you send all of the documents over the title? And like, for what house? I was like, the house I've been emailing you about, the one with all the documents, everything. And like, we haven't got any of those emails. I'm like, yes, you have. And I went back and I showed, and I had all the email chains, and they're like, oh, we haven't seen that because we're not familiar with dotloop. So now, here's the deal with, if you work with a big bank like those that I mentioned, they have a whole entire staff. Everyone gets paid salary. It's like celery, but it's paid, so it's salary. There we go. And I got it. And so they get paid either way. So whether they close your deal or not, whether they close it on time, whatever it is, they don't care about word of mouth. They don't care about anything. They get small, tiny commissions and fees, or small, tiny bonuses whenever they close every single deal. That's not how they have their full entire income based on the success of closing these deals. So they don't really care that much. Plus, they have multiple hands on it. They have so many hands on it that no one really knows what's going on at any given time. I'm not saying this happens 100% of the time, but most of the time I work with a big bank, we don't really have a successful closing. We always have to push it out. So then we're in, I think, 20 days into the deal, 15 days into the deal, and they haven't even seen the contract. And I'm like, oh, dear God, man. And so I send him all the executed contracts and everything that you need to see through his personal PDF, and I sent it outside dotloop. And he's like, all right, got it, good. but we're going to need to extend it. So now we have to extend from November 1st to November 15th closing date. And I was like, dude, you can't just put on an extra 2 weeks just like that right before we're about to close. And then they're like, sorry, that's the only way we can get the deal done. And so I was like, all right. I get frustrated. I try to convince my client to go back to Derek, the lender, the private lender, because Derek can get it closed in 2 weeks. I'm like, man, I trust, even though they say they can get this done in the next 2 weeks, I trust Derek still over them because Derek's never let me down. Only that one time he let me down with this client, and that's not Derek's fault. The client moved the funds out of the account, so it's like, that's not Derek's fault. You can't blame him for that. And so I almost got my client to go back to Derek. And man, I wish that he would have done it. But he's like, all right, we got all the documents. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and stick with Wells Fargo. And I was like, damn it. All right. So now, yesterday, I got an email from his manager at Wells Fargo saying, hey, how's it looking on this deal? Have we got those documents yet? And I've got the original guy saying he received the documents, and they're saying they haven't even started the loan yet. So we're supposed to be closing on the 1st, and now it's the 15th. And so at this point, they just reached out to me yesterday, and I'm like, guys, come on. And so for him to be able to get everything done in time to close on the 15th seems ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to do it. And this is why I don't deal with big banks. So if you work with me, make sure to reach out to Derek at Derek Alutian. He works with Guaranteed Rate, and we're going. My goodness, I think Godzilla just came awake. T-Rex lives, and so I'm gonna, just to make sure that no one else has to go through the same stuff that I'm going through right now with this client. I'm about to release an entire series with Derek on the do's and don'ts of getting a loan and how to buy a house. We're gonna have a step 1 and step 2 guide on exactly what it is that loans are and what you need to know about loans, how to get a loan, how to get approved for loans, and also a second one with the description of all the different kinds of loans you can get as well. So if you guys don't want this to happen to you, then be tuned. I'm going to be releasing those videos in the next 2 days or so on my YouTube. If you guys watch this on Instagram, I've already posted this stuff, so you're already ahead of the curve. But yeah, guys, just want to share with you, there's no real point to this video other than the fact that I'm frustrated and want to talk about it, and I really can't stand big banks. Wish me luck. I hope I can close on November 15th. I'll keep you guys updated. All right, see you guys. What's in the cup? Hey, wait, before you go, make sure to like and subscribe.